The choice between 1080p and 1440p is not even close these days. In most case scenarios, you should absolutely go for the 1440p display, except for one. Let me explain. Firstly, 1440p displays are basically dirt cheap right now. High refresh rate 1440p monitors have replaced 1080p as the go-to budget choice. In Europe, many stores sell them for less than 150 euros. Same goes for the American market. You can easily find a 180Hz IPS Quad HD monitor for something like $150. Imagine buying a GPU for a price like that. Wouldn't that be a dream? At the same time, 1080p monitors cost just a little less than that, and they come with their own compromises, which I will talk about later. Just look at this, you are saving 50 euros and in turn buying a smaller and usually worse monitor. Now, the problem with 1080p is not only the price of the monitors, it is also some external factors, specifically the way that modern games have progressed in their way of rendering. You see, we live in an age of temporal anti-aliasing, as well as upscaling, and for both of those features 1080p is simply a tad too low of a res. At 1080p, TA produces just too much blur. Many modern games like Stalker 2 look like a smeared mess with just 2 million pixels. The same applies to the upscaling, although less so for DLSS. 1080p is simply too low of a resolution for upscaling to look nice. And if we are talking about FSR3, yeah, let's just not go there. There are some ways to mitigate this. You could use supersampling methods like DLSR or sharpening filters like AMD's Radeon Image Sharpening. But they both have their, well, downsides. By using supersampling, you are rendering the game at much higher resolution, but not getting the full image quality upsides. And by using sharpening, you could actually make the game look worse in some places. There is also something else. You see, modern games sometimes render lower quality textures and assets at lower resolution. This, paradoxically, also applies to 1440p. Only 4K resolution allows you to completely eliminate this problem. And considering the prices of modern GPUs, yeah, I'd say that 1440p is an acceptable compromise. And talking about modern GPUs, you see, despite the common belief that you need at least 12 GB for 1440p and the 4070 class GPU, if you are smart about the settings you use and do not simply turn everything to the max like a dumb ape, you can play games at 1440p even with a measly RTX 4060. Yes, 8 gigs would be a problem, but it is an avoidable problem, except for fucking Oblivion of course, but it can go suck Gigalax balls. Basically what I'm trying to say is that modern budget GPUs are actually really capable, and they often are wasted at 1080p. Sure, you will have more headroom in the future, but you see, considering the fact that using upscaling at 1080p is sort of blasphemy, the performance that you would get from 1440p using balanced or even quality upscaling preset is very close to native 1080p. With a better image quality at that. Yeah, that kinda makes 1080p pointless for me, personally. Yeah, I know that some people are too based for upscaling, and if that's you, then sure, 1080p might be a better fit, but then I also think that you have already clicked off this video, so yeah. There is also some other important features that you won't get at 1080p, like the fact that at higher resolutions you have more usable screen real estate. Personally, it's one of the selling features of higher res monitors for me. As a video editor, additional height and width of Quad HD displays are extremely nice to have. There is also the simple fact that 1080p monitors are considered to be bottom of the barrel for the manufacturers, which is why they don't make mini LED displays like that or OLED. Which means, well, no proper HDR support. And I also believe that many people are simply too tired of 1080p resolution. They have been using it for a while and they simply want to try something a bit more fresh. But there is a case to be made for 1080p displays. If you have a really slow and old GPU, then it's not a choice, but a necessity to buy 1080p. Your GPU simply would not handle 1440p with upscaling, more like heavily upscaled 1080p. There is also a possibility that many people often forget. Some people simply cannot afford anything more than a simple 1080p monitor. Well, in that case, you either save up a bit more or just suck it up and get what you can. And of course, there's the opposite case. The gamers that can spend more and they want to spend more to gain competitive advantage. For those people, there is a completely different market, the market of extreme refresh rate and ATP displays, like 540Hz and 720Hz TN displays from the likes of BenQ. These monitors focus on maximum motion clarity, and honestly, I wish I could see what it looks like. But I also vastly prefer higher resolution and ultrawide aspect ratio for absolute immersion. But if you love clicking heads in CS2 and Valorant, then these 1080p gaming beasts are a great pick.